do you think you kind of found like your aesthetic, the things that you like, and was like, oh, there was a time that you were like, okay, now it clicked, this is what I like, or no, it was like more where it came from? Olá, estamos aqui nos talks do Business Sessions do Rio Fashion Week e agora a gente vai conversar com Imruh, que é da Dazed. A gente vai falar de Brasil Core, ou é Rio de Janeiro Core, sobre revistas, cultura jovem, redes sociais, como todo esse mercado está mudando e tudo que está acontecendo. One of the first things that I think that I was like very anxious to know your perspective about is that as a foreigner, I think that you might have like a very specific view about that, which is in the last years in Brazil, we are experiencing like a boom of international brands coming here to Rio specifically, to do photo shoots, to use like the city as a background and the lifestyle and everything. And I personally think that it's not Brazil core, it's like a Rio de Janeiro core, because Brazil is like
bigger than that.
In a lot of cultures and everything. Why do you think this is happening, like from your perspective?
The reason I think why a lot of people come to Brazil, for me, like I've seen this boom happening as well. Like, of course, I think it has to do with what we see in social media and what we are like drawn to. I think like maybe it might have to do with the state of the world at the moment as well. Like people are like there's a lot of like, let's say, bad things happening in the world lately, and I think maybe humanity is trying to kind of escape to a more beautiful place. And I do think like that there's no city like Rio, like in terms of landscape and in terms of like geography and the way how it's set up. Like it's basically like a strip of beach, and the city is just built around the beach.
And you have like drinks in the sand, and it's free. Like everyone can go there.
And I like that there's no like classism, you know, like the beach is for everyone. So it's very like it feels like a free world. And I think for like maybe Western European or Americans, it's maybe they are maybe tired of being put in a certain box, you know. And I think for Rio is almost like a utopia where you can just be and be free and feel free. And I think also visually the backdrop of the city of Rio is very photogenic. So I think it has to do with a mix of things. I think the state of the world, then also Rio being I think the most photogenic city of the world, the place that I've been to, and maybe kind of like the escapism of the Western world, wanting to be in a place where it's just the sun and you and a caipirinha and a coconut. Brazil is so big, there's so many cultures, but I do think it's good that a lot of people are trying to come to Rio. And of course Rio is the first, maybe it's like, how do you say, like it's the first point of contact, and then it's up to like Brazil to pull everyone further into the country, I would say.
And also like as a Brazilian, I think like Rio also has like a very mix of different realities. We have like this huge contrast of people like with a lot of money, with people like in favelas, in the peripheric areas and everything. And during this boom of international brands coming here, I've been thinking about like, oh, it's cool because like the world is looking to Brazil, to Rio specifically. But on the other hand, it kind of I don't know if it bothers me, but makes me think like, okay, like most of them are European, and I understand, and they come here and they use Rio as a background, and they pay like a crew, a team, and they go home. And it makes me wonder about like the appropriation. I don't know, like I have like mixed feelings. How do you see that, like as a person that works with fashion aesthetic, but also like with cultural realities, and how you think that a brand can get in these spaces? And
I think that's a very fine line. Like I'm traveling a lot for shoots, like not only to Rio but also to other places, and like indeed, like the first thing I always think about, you cannot put like the subject, like a model that has and it has not like no connection with the place, or like indeed a creative team that there's no connection with the place and just go somewhere and take it. So I always try to, I think it's the same for brands, like I think there needs to be a certain connection. Like, is it maybe the model, the subject that you shoot, or is it the creative team that you work with? I know that, for example, like bigger brands like Zara, they're starting to shoot here, and they start to shoot with local people as well, like as the photographers and stylists. I've seen this happening, but I think it's definitely important to involve the people from the environment, because they know probably the best, even how to shoot, where to shoot, even how to approach certain cultural elements, like to not be appropriative. I think that's very important. So I think it's like being inclusive, even with the people you work with, and like that there should be a connection with the subject or the story that you tell, that you are going to Rio. If there's no connection, it and I think this plays in a lot of places. I think it's not only Rio. It's everywhere you go. Everything that you do, even as a brand, there needs to be like a genuine, honest connection with the thing that you do.
Yeah, it's like I have like a very mixed feelings about. I feel like, oh, I'm glad that they are looking at us, but on the other hand, okay, they come and then go home, and like the favela is still the same. I feel like, oh.
Yeah, I think it's important to include, like really, like to maybe like, yeah, I work for Dazed Magazine, and like, yeah, we did last year a cover story with Ibrahim, and yeah, it's like we want to show these local people from the favelas, you know, everyone enjoys the beach in the same way, and the beach is for everyone. So the boys from the favela are playing football, but then also the people from the, let's say, expensive hotels are on the same beach, on the same chair.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's something really, like, you don't have this in Europe. If you would go to, let's say, the south of France, like the whole beachfront is blocked by money and by yeah, I don't know, like elitism, you know. And I think, yeah, people that come here, this is my own experience. Like, I think that they also learn culturally from this, you know, like, oh, it is okay to share everything together, you know. So, you know, so these people that come here, yes, it's a double feeling, but also it's a learning lesson for them as well, you know.
Yeah, I think for both sides.
For like both, yeah, exactly. And a lot of people fall in love with the city, and hopefully they come back to invest and to make it to make it great. Yeah, I think.
It makes sense. And also, like, you work at Dazed, which is a more, can I say that, underground,
independent magazine. Yeah.
And also you work with luxury brands.
Yes.
And also, like, your aesthetic is like more colorful. It's like a huge mix of textures and everything.
Yeah.
While this luxury, I don't know, legacy history is more like a traditional.
Yeah.
How do you think that these more traditional luxury brands are dealing like with more underground, independent aesthetics and cultures, like the openness of them to that, or no? How do you see this relationship?
I think it goes with waves, really, like I would say, because there like when I started, it's like it took me a little while to really get on the radar and to being able to show my work to, let's say, the bigger houses.
For how many years you worked before? You felt that,
I think like 5 years or something.
In 5 years, you thought like, okay, I'm getting.
Yeah, after 5 years, I kind of also found my own kind of touch. You know, I understood what I find beautiful and like what I want to stand for. But I think like it's interesting because nowadays there's this kind of quite luxury kind of aesthetic, and I'm indeed very bold. Like, and the thing is, like, I could go really simple, like I do only projects where it's like very clean and very like precise, but then you become like a product of the mass, and like I feel like for me it's like impossible to do like a very simple shoot. But I think
at any point you felt like frustrated. Okay, maybe I should try to be more clean. And it was like, what the fuck? Why I'm not?
I have to say I have these moments where I think like, oh, should I do more commercial? And then I'm like, no, actually never. Because the thing is, like, I think why, for example, these brands, maybe I work with these brands, is that my work maybe stands out more than other, let's say, creatives, because I'm really stubborn and I just do my thing that I love, and I think it's not for everyone. Like some brands I would never work for, but some brands I think would really. I think why I work with these brands is that they got really inspired by something else that they see, and so yeah, that's basically. Yeah, I don't know if that answered the question really well, but
No, but you think like the market in the last few years
yeah,
is more open to newness and to different perspectives, or not? You feel
there was a
more...
moment. I think like there's like what I say, like it goes with waves. There's like opening moments where a lot of people can come in, like a new generation can come in, and there was a moment like 5 years ago when Ibrahim started at the magazine at Dazed, and we had like really good creatives, young people doing really beautiful things, like the photographers like Harley Ware and like Caroline Jacobs, and like that's all people from my generation, and we kind of understood like this is a moment to take our positions, and I think, and but then it's like it keeps like the door closes again a little bit, and then like people like maybe in like 5 years again there will be a moment where we can go all enter this room again. But it's not that it's like, okay, now the door is open and stays forever open, because it's very like traditional constitutions, and like these companies are based on numbers, and you see how fast now like with the designers how fast everything changes, because it's like there's no trust in the industry at the moment. So to have new people coming in is like sometimes very risk taking for the bigger brands. So I feel like, yes, there was a moment where even when Virgil Abloh was still alive, he opened a lot of doors. But I wouldn't say that now is a moment that, let's say, for the younger generation that we are able to open a lot of doors. I know if it might come, like it might come again, but it's just a reality, I think. Yeah.
And how do you think you kind of found like your aesthetic, the things that you like, and it was like, oh, there was a time that you were like, okay, now it clicked, this is what I like, or no, it was like more where it came from?
No, so I was always drawn to like colors, textures, and shape. This is like I always say these three things.
Where do you think it came from?
First I thought, oh, it's just me, like that's what I like, and I really early I understood what I liked. So I didn't thought there was like a depth to it, but then I started traveling a lot, and I was looking around, and I looked around. I was like understood like people are like almost camouflaging the environment where they live in. So if you look at like cities like Paris, London, like Berlin, Amsterdam, people dress very like beige, brown, black, navy. It's very like toned down, because that's the environment. The buildings are like gray and beige. The sky is gray and beige. The animals are like quite like camouflage colors. So I feel like the human is kind of like camouflaging themselves in the environment. And then I went to like Caribbean, where my roots are from Caribbean. So I went back to Caribbean, and of course different places like basically the whole, I would call it like the Western world and the other world. The Western world is very like beige, brown, gray, and then the other world is like actually very colorful, because it's like so for example, so I have to go back to the story.
No, okay.
I went to the Caribbean, and then I understood like, oh, like everything is colorful and sweet. So for example, the food, if you look at the food, colorful and sweet. The drinks, colorful and sweet. The way the people dress, because it's also maybe the environment, the nature, the animals, it's very like they have different colors. So then I was like, oh, maybe my love for this kind of textures and colors comes maybe from a deeper point of view. Maybe it's something that is more deeply rooted in like maybe my forefathers, or like something that I just be attracted to, and that's when I realized like, oh yeah, maybe it comes from something deeper, but so that's my kind of like explanation. But then also like as a kid, and as my parents, they dressed me up like indeed super colorful and super I think I've been always like a very like joyful child and like really happy and like that's my energy. So I think I just kind of really early understood that I want to transport my energy into this work, and that's how it came along. But I think it's maybe like something more deeply rooted, maybe like coming like being like Caribbean as well, and maybe living in a very gray Western world, and then going out, coming back, and kind of understanding it. Yeah.
No, and it's also funny because as you were speaking, I was thinking like even in those environments that you said, for example, like France, Paris, Berlin, from my experience, like the people that I saw, they were like more colorful and funny. It was like kids, and like really older people, which are like fuck society. I want to do as I want. Like I don't care about anything.
It's true.
It's kind of like
it's that. It's like kids, like kids or very old people. Yeah,
cool. And also, I think that kind of brings to a thing that I've been thinking a lot, which is, as you were saying, I saw a video recently of a girl on TikTok scrolling, and she had a point that I found really interesting. That was like from her perspective. She was like studying as she thinks that the newer generations, Gen Z, for example, they are not creating culture as the previous ones, because like from her perspective, like first that we are losing the teen vibe and environment. For example, teen magazines are shutting down, like teen stores, even like teen spaces where you go with your friends, like clubs, malls, which were things that where you used
social
to socialize.
Spaces,
and from her perspective, like the internet kind of took this space. So if in the past we had like grunge, punk, like very different movements that were rooted like in thoughts and
politic views.
And because of that we had like aesthetic. Nowadays, like everything is just about aesthetic and performative. Do you believe in that? How do you see the things going?
No, I think definitely there's this thing called, for me, I call it the social media aesthetic, like Insta aesthetic. I see it everywhere. Like I see it in food, I see it in fashion, I see it in design. Like if you go, I will go to Hong Kong and I will go to the same matcha shop as I go into.
That's crazy.
You know, like so it's this kind of global visual Insta aesthetic, and I feel like what I think it's true what you say is like, because they're not creating their own culture or their own, let's say, trends anymore, because it's basically a repeat of all the trends, because they look back at the 90s and the 2000s and they repeat those things, and maybe the gothics and from those times, because that's what you only see on your screen, and because they don't look, let's say, really outside so much anymore. So that's why, indeed, like I agree, like everything is being repeated, and maybe that's why there's no, like maybe the girl's right, like there's maybe no real culture being made, because we just base it off the older culture nostalgia that we reference to all the time. And that's a little bit I wonder what's going to happen with it, because it's like it's reaching.
I was going to ask you that. Where do you think that things are going?
I don't know. It's reaching
now we are
a point.
Like the boom of nostalgia.
Yes, I think so. For me, it's like that's the nostalgia thing, and like the Insta aesthetic, and then you have this clean Insta aesthetic, and like for me to find like authentic restaurant now in Paris is really hard, because all the bistro and all the brasserie, they all went away.
The same logos,
and now everything is like coffee matcha shop. So I think we're gonna lose culture in that sense too. Like and I think like there will be a counter wave of people that will gonna bring like back like the how do you say the real classic elements of a culture. So but then it will not, I don't know, it's just, I don't know where it will go. It's hard to predict it, actually.
But also, like Dazed is a magazine that I used to read when I was like younger. I remember like at fashion college with my friends, like they had like old magazines, and we were like all together in the table, like looking together the things and like touching. Look at this. It's strange, but at the same time, I think is how things are working nowadays. But also like Dazed also always had like showed like different cultures
Yes.
and niched ones,
Yeah.
but at the same time it was like a connection with like the current audience. So
Yes.
kind of pushed things forward,
Further,
but
yeah.
also like reflected the times.
Yeah.
How do you see this thing going on in this reality?
I
Like
think
how do you guys
we
reflect
still,
this kind of vibe and
yeah,
also like
we
keep
still,
pushing?
I mean, we still like that's what we do the magazine for. Like we really try to push culture forward, and yeah, it is true. We are really researching more, like in maybe like the digital part. Like I cannot, maybe I have a story specific about it. Yeah, we are trying to really be the first ones that are understanding, let's say, the trend of where the culture is going and where what is happening. And it's, I have to say, it's not always easy. Like it's really like, it's almost like you try to predict things to happen. Sometimes you shoot something or a subject and you think it will blow up, and it will not. And sometimes it's something that you did like 6 months ago, 2 issues ago, and suddenly it will blow up. So it's like hard to sometimes predict when it will happen. But I love like when we do it often with artists, for example, when when they are still like on a point of breaking through. And for me, the most beautiful projects is like when, for example, we have somebody who's about to blow up, and maybe our cover makes that moment with the artist. Like for example, like a long time ago, Dazed has done like Young Thug and Billie Eilish, for example, and it was really like the moment where they were about to explode, but just before we had this cover, and actually the cover made them explode. So like with the magazine, you can really like if you have the right timing, it's you can really shape culture in that way, because it can really mean something to like a community or an audience. So yeah, that's what we are always trying to do with the magazine. Like I think we are definitely the like a lot of magazines are going away, like you've heard, like The Face, and I think like ID was something happened, and like so we are like the only, like the real ones still standing and really talking with youth culture. And we really want to like our goal is really to speak to the younger audience. This is like something that we repeat in every meeting, like okay, but what, like I would ask, the thing is like if I go to research, is me, I'm just asking my assistants or my younger people that I work with, just to understand, like to keep updated. And
And
yeah.
how do you think like you can develop or you can have this feeling to like, oh, I feel that Billie Eilish now is the right person.
Yeah.
There is something there.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
how you
It's like being really like listening and keeping your eyes and ears open at all times, and sometimes hard because hard to filter also, because if you keep your eyes open for everything,
Yeah.
everything will come in as well. But also we work with people that kind of know, like we have one custom director that we work with, that he works with all the managers, so he kind of know when somebody drop an album, or like we have our, like, let's say like whisper people that we listen to, and so that's kind of the way how it goes. Yeah.
And it's crazy because like we are also living a time that we are having, especially in fashion.
Yeah.
From my experience, like
Yeah.
a boom of more independent. I don't know if I can say channels. For example, Lias.
Yes.
Like we have like very.
Yeah.
How do you see this decentralization of media?
Yes, I think it's beautiful. I know a lot of journalists hate it. I know like I know that like the old school journalists, they will be like, this is not journalism. But for me, it's like the most purest form of journalism that we can have at this moment with the platforms that we have. And you see it with with Lias, but also like style.com and like those kind of platforms. But I also see, I think, us younger people like this. Like I think even in my work, I'm way more unconventional the way I do a photo shoot. Like I did shoots where we broke Guinness World Record, or I did a shoot with a small kid. And I think it's just like what Leos does as well. It's just like looking at things in a different way and opening, let's say, the doors and making things more inclusive again. And I think it's a really good thing that things are decentralizing a little bit, and that there's no monopoly on like some media has had like a crazy monopoly, and I think now there's more and more like these kind of spokesperson coming up and with like a big opinion that apparently there's a huge audience that has the same opinion as him. So I think what I did as well, like we did the shoot with Lias and we did like a live shooting.
I saw it with the people
yes, exactly.
him during backstage.
It was like a watch party shoot, and I think for me it's just like if I see people like that, we have to embrace it. Like if you are scared for it, it will eat you anyways. Like he will take you over anyways. So it's better to embrace it than to have a collaboration with it. And it's the same with AI and everything, like all this technology. Like you better to embrace it. Yeah.
But how do you think that you can embrace and try new things without like losing your core? For example, AI, this kind of new tools, technologies, like trends, a lot of aspects.
just use it as a tool. I would say just use it as a tool. It's like the same as we went from. We will talk about it in the talk as well. But like, it's the same as we went from analog photography to digital photography, and a lot of people were scared and they didn't make it. But the smart ones and the real visionary people, they managed a way to let's say digitalize their vision into the digital camera. And they were still being amazing and still standing strong. There's a lot of photographers that even became better in the digital age. But at the moment that you get scared of new things, like maybe people like Lias or AI or young people doing really cool things, I think that's where it's gonna take you over and eat you, and that's your end. I would say as a brand or as a magazine or as a, let's say, a CEO.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And also there is a thing that I've been thinking and kind of being bothered a lot, which is like from my perspective, like in a very short period of time we had like a market open to diversity, to inclusivity, and like kind of out of the blue, I don't know, in 6 months, like everything like shut down. It was like a thinness, whiteness, like was more conservative. How do you see these trends, and how do you see what's your personal perspective about how the industry deal with it?
I think that's kind of how we started this talk. Is like there was a moment where things were very open, right? Like maybe around COVID times, and like with the Black Lives Matters. Exactly. And like there was like indeed more plus size models, and now it's almost like back to basic. And like it's the like if I'm just talking about, let's say, the like the international fashion weeks for now. I'm not talking about Rio, like in general, but like I'm talking more about Paris, London, New York. But like it's like it's really weird, I have to say. Like but I think it has to do with the political, economical state of the world as well. Like I think, let's say, business owners are more scared to make bigger risks because of what's happening around us in the world, and I think it might have to do with that. Like maybe it's not the first reason, but it may be the subconscious reason where people are more afraid to make choices, so they might just go back to a thinner model, or maybe not work with a young person because maybe it's a risk, So I think it has to do with the how you say, like the general state of mind of all humans at the moment, and where maybe people are a little bit more scared in the Western world. I would say. I wouldn't say so in Rio. I feel people are very joyful, happy, and they don't give a fuck.
And also, like, do you think about that, like, as a magazine, like the importance of like not like
we have to go against it and show that it's possible. We have an issue coming next in September, and I cannot say the theme, but it's about definitely about diversity, and like not forget, like it's not that it was not a trend, it's actually something that we have to keep doing. And it felt now a little bit like having, let's say, more, let's say, diversity in terms of shape or in terms of skin color. It was a trend. It's not a trend. It's a
human being. This person
exists. It needs to be something that is like normalized, And I feel the same as you. We went back a little bit to where it became a little bit more exclusive again.
is strange. Do you think that you love fashion? Like, oh, I love fashion.
I love clothes. I really love clothes. Yeah.
Why?
But fashion is a different thing. I don't know. I just like the fact of creating things and clothes that are like it says so much. It's the first thing that you can speak about even before speaking. Like it's what you wear that says so much about your personality. So it has a lot of message. So I think it's I really like clothes. Fashion is a different thing, but the message that you can have with clothes, I really love. That's definitely my passion. Yes.
In going this way, like you, I don't know if you experienced, like from my outsider perspective, like in the past, I thought that there was more freedom to magazines to do like different styling, like mixing brands and everything. And in the last years, there's like a more look policy. How do you see that? I think like,
is this the same in Rio? Is this no?
The international brands, yes. Like the local are more chill, but like there's.
I think it's money nowadays. Magazines they exist because brands pay for the advertising in the pages, but they also pay for to have 6 looks in the magazine, a certain amount of money to have the advertising page, but also they have the deal to say, okay, we need 6 looks in all the fashion series that everyone does. So then you have, as a stylist, you have all these advertisers, so a list of brands that pay to be in the magazine, because the magazine doesn't exist because of selling to people. It exists because the brands are supporting it. So now more and more, because the digital age, I think still print is very important because it's the first point of contact. It's something physical object that you can touch. It's for me, it should never go away, but definitely the numbers have been decreasing as crazy because people can see things online, of course. So as a stylist, sometimes I get 12 pages for the magazine shoot, but we have 18 advertiser. Like already the advertiser is more than the pages. So how I'm gonna, so basically like that's why. And then there's a lot of brands, they require even the full look. So that's why it's almost like, again, it's paid media. So it's like it takes away a little bit of the creativity. So me, I've been going around sometimes, like that's why I do these kind of photo shoots where I change the concept, because I cannot change really the clothes always with those kind of bigger magazines.
You hacked the
so
structure.
We will do a shoot where the concept is more editorial. So like the model is like a mannequin in the window, like we did the shoot with Anok for W Magazine, or where I did a shoot where all the models were running on the track, So it's more like the things around the clothes that I think about. Almost like it's not anymore styling, but it's more like maybe art direction. Then actually the clothes styling them itself, because it's as like the brands will be very upset if you change it. So it requires you to think it in a different way about photo shoots. But it is it's kind of the sad reality, but also I think for me is a challenge, like to be more creative around it. And
also the examples that you said, from my perspective, are more about a feeling, like an image that you have a feeling. And I feel that nowadays it's harder to have this click with image because of the amount of content that
everyone is doing the same. So you need to do something different. You need to do
What do you think that makes an image stands out and make this personal connection with someone?
There needs to be somehow an intention to the let's say a story or picture. There needs to be a narrative, a story. And for me, what grabs me is like something visually very appealing and different than if I would scroll and see the same thing. Or it would be in terms of the connection to the subject. Like if it's a very beautiful story about this person that lives in this country where maybe I don't have the story, but like for example, I did this series with the little kids. Like it was for me, it was more like a reason to show to like, let's say our audience, our community, that a kid can make even the same picture as the older person, as long as you have the right team around you. So sometimes the message, sometimes it's visually the picture. And for me, it's just like I want to see new things. Like I want to be sparked in my visual, in my mind. So yeah, I would say those things. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And also there is something like, as you were speaking about brands and everything, I have a personal feeling that in the past, I think that people used to kind of find their way, who they are, and kind of from that go to brands and to look to products that were a reflection of that. And I think that nowadays, like with the full look policy and everything, and this performative environment and everything, I feel that most of the people, the consumers, are waiting for the brands to tell them who they will be. Oh, okay, this season you will be like a nerd, and next, and I feel like how can I feel like the things are closing from all perspectives.
Yes. That's true. It's true. Yeah.